Меня зовут Reaper. Большой вет. Нет. No. I didn't. Nothing about the votes. Shh. Oh, sorry. Hey, how are you guys? No collusion here. I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it. Even though my mom is, I don't know if you guys know that. Did you know that my mom is Ukrainian? So I'm actually half Ukrainian and half Moroccan. My mom's side comes from Kiev. So that would make me, I guess, Russian. Well, not, there's a big difference between Russian and Ukraine, but I'm Ukrainian and I'm a Moroccan. But that has nothing to do with collusion, and that has nothing to do with today's show. So yes, I have a connection with our guest today in a geographical sense, not in a biological sense or anything else like that. Just in my relatives came from the same place where he's from. Too much information? Too bad. It's my show. I'm just joking. Hi guys, how are you? It's 10 o'clock-ish or so here on the west coast of Los Angeles, California. Guess what time it is in Moscow? 8 o'clock, dude, PM. Yeah. So we've had some amazing shows. We've got some amazing shows coming up. I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. I always enjoy bringing people to the show so you guys can learn about the culture, the people, hang on a second. You need me to sign something? What? My wife's handing me a note. We have a meeting at the bank at 12 p.m. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. So we always have these amazing people on the show, and you get to learn about them. And again, like I say about my shows, there's we could talk for hours about MagFed or pump, or we could talk about like 68, 50 cal, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's not what this show is about. This show is about getting to know the people in our community, whether it's autism or veterans or Nick with the bionic arm. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you to learn about these people and have a great time. So I'm looking forward to my guest. If you play, we always say 80-20, like 80% of what I do is like woods ball scenario, whatever. 20% is the other part, which would be like the tournament stuff. So if you play woods ball tournament or woods ball or all that kind of, you might have heard the Russian Legion, or you might have heard of Kirill, maybe, I don't know. If you're in actually that NXL world and everything, you've definitely heard about the Russian Legion, and you definitely heard about Kirill. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing in Kirill. He's from Moscow, and he's patiently waiting. He's like, shut the fuck up and start talking to me. So anyway, without further ado, hi, brother. How are you?
Hey, great to see everyone on the other side of the world. And
nice here. I'll move out of the way so you can see more people. There you go. There you go. Hey. Privet.
Привет. Yeah.
And do I say what was it? What was the one that I had? Boyshoid
on the phone.
Oh yeah, Boyshoid. How do you say, like, it's nice to meet you? Was Boyshoid was grand, right?
Нет. Приятно познакомиться. That's how you say nice to meet you.
That's too much. You know what? Dos vidaños.
Kind of Mexican way, yeah.
Exactly. Nice. Hey, what do they call this in Russia? What is this this head thing that he was wearing?
That's a fur hat.
Yeah,
that was it. And I was like looking at it, and from the third repetition I realized that he put down a cat off his head. I was like, wow, okay, that's funny.
That's typical, though. I mean, they actually wear that in Moscow or in Russia, right?
Not in Moscow. I mean, those fur hats were pretty popular in the USSR. They were the example of your wellness and richness, because only like kind of rich people could afford themselves like a fur hat.
Okay.
Kind of really comfortable during the winter time, but since USSR is gone, like no one else except hunters and some workers in the deep north wearing those fur hats. Right. Maybe Maybe someone's grandmas are still wearing those, but nobody
Someone's babushka. What is that? What is that?
someone's babushkas. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm Kirill Prihidni from Russian Legion, kind of one of the original players who stick with the team for like 19, 20 years so far.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm happy to be with David over here on his show in the era of quarantine, where if you want to talk to people, you should go online.
Exactly. I don't talk about the C word, but I'm just going to ask you. So people, because I've been hearing bullshit about, like, people say that Russia just has no deaths, there's no quarantine. You guys are going through the same stuff as us, right?
Well, technically, there is no quarantine over here, especially in Moscow. We just obliged to make a self-quarantine at home.
Okay.
And that's how it all works. Like in Norway, nothing is kind of operated correctly. We just sit over here without any refunds from the government. We can't work. We can't do anything. We just sit over here and can go walk out to the streets, only purchasing the barcode. If you purchase a barcode, then probably police guys are not going to catch your ass out there and ask you for a bribe or for a penalty from the government. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the news that we get here is that, all of this conspiracy stuff is that, you guys are going about your life and that there's no deaths and there's nothing like that. And
no. The situation over here, well, they play with the statistics to make it lower, but everybody knows that this April, the last April of the last month over here this year, was the worst about the deaths over here, especially in Moscow. So it was like 40% more deaths than average amount of deaths ever, like April in all other years over here. Wow. So, but since they're playing with the statistics, they say, okay, you died not because of the quarantine, you died because of the heart attack.
Got it.
Or because of the pneumonia, yeah, but not because of the COVID. But of course, they're just playing numbers and
playing with numbers
better. Yeah.
They do the same thing at Disneyland. I don't know if you know that, but nobody dies at Disneyland. Do you know that? Listen, I swear to God, you can be decapitated. Your head can come off because you were on a ride.
But you just go to the fairy tale. Yeah,
exactly. Nobody dies in Disneyland. So same thing. I get it.
Fantastic, David. So that's a good point, actually. Right now, I'm going to tell myself that I'm not living in Moscow and Russia. I'm living in the Disneyland.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's called the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter. I got it. Okay. All right, brother. So you are a really cool cat, and I've known you for a while. And it was really a pleasure to see you again at Hollywood Sports when you guys were doing the pre-practice before the NXL. And I got to see you a little bit looser. The reason I'm saying that is because to me, and we're gonna get into this more in depth, but to me, the Russian Legion is like an Olympic team. You know what I'm saying? This is business for you. You guys come out, you do what you want to, do what you have to do. Whether it was HSP or whether it was Pendleton, it was just business. But I brought some vodka and some chocolates out to you, and I was like, hey, and you guys were a little bit more like relaxed and fun, and so it was good to see the thawing of the cold Russian winter face, and I'm just joking, you. You guys are really humans, and you're really great. So again, I really do appreciate you coming on the show.
That's my pleasure, David. And as soon as you asked me, I told you yes right at the beginning, because that's the part of the Paintball Society, to make as many integrations as is possible. Doesn't matter if you are from like a ragdoll or a sports ball. You never know which story is going to be inspiration for you and who's going to be interesting to listen to.
I agree. Okay. Let's start at the beginning. You were born in Moscow?
Yeah. I'm from a side of the Moscow, a little bit, like one of the towns around it. Yeah.
One of the towns. The reason I'm saying that is because everybody, like, when they don't know a geographical area and someone asks you a question, everybody goes Moscow, or in Israel they'll say Tel Aviv, even though they were like, way off to the side, but everybody knows Moscow. So is it a small town outside of Moscow, or is it like a little village, or? Is
No,
it
no, no. The trick is that Moscow is a huge agglomeration of towns. It's like actually LA, yeah, because like Los Angeles is not only Los Angeles, it's also
right?
like Hollywood, yeah, the
There
Palm
you go.
Beach, like
Right.
some other part, not the ocean side, Riverside, yeah, and
Right.
all of those
Ooh, someone's
smaller
been
towns,
studying the
yeah.
map. Yes, exactly. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Are you a spy? Hang on a second.
No, I've been it's just I've been to US for 20 years since now, so
I
that's why
know.
I'm kind of familiar, like with
I know.
everything.
Um,
Uh, and
so
so the same is about the Moscow. Moscow is all together with some smaller towns and even cities, and people usually are born over there and trying to get into the city.
yeah,
It's like in the New York area, probably too. The same is happening. You're always trying to get to the megapolis because much more opportunities and all of that stuff.
I got it. Okay, now looking at your makeup, if you guys, I'm just going to give you a quick little Russian history here.
Okay.
So the a lot of the Scandies, the Scandinavians, they actually took rivers and they do what they do best, which is pillage and the other R word, and they spread their
Yeah,
genes all over.
firing. Yeah, firing and raping all around.
Yeah. I don't want to say it, you said it, but that's what they did. So basically they did. So it's really odd if you think about it. I mean, think about like the Swedish, the Scandies, and they actually went into Russia and populated the kind of the area kind of thing. So a lot of Russians have blonde hair, blue eyes, Nordic kind of thing. Some don't. Some have eyes like me that are like Asian, like I think like Mongolian kind of squinty eyes. But
Yeah, because we got Scandinavians only in the beginning of the history, and then we got Mongolians who did the same.
Mongols and the whole thing. So,
Yeah.
so you guys are a mix. What would you say your background is? What do you say? Can you kind of trace your thing? Would you know?
Well, as you have been telling your little story that your mom is Ukrainian and your dad is from
Morocco.
Morocco, yeah, from Africa. I was like, are you kidding me? How come your dad is from Morocco? Because like you're totally whitish. Yeah, how's that
The
possible?
Jews. It's the Jews.
It's the Jews, Morocco's Jews. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't
exactly.
know about that.
Wait, no, I'm not like Arab. Well, I guess I do speak some Arabic, but no. Yeah, the Jews got kicked out of Spain during the Inquisition, the
And they had to go to
1500s.
Morocco.
They went across the street to Morocco, and then
Wow, and that's actually how Morocco become one of the best Northern African countries, right?
because of the Jews, exactly. Yes. I'm just
Wow,
joking.
I actually didn't know that connection.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Okay,
Um,
it speaks a lot. But anyways, coming back to my family, well,
yes,
my
your
dad,
family.
my dad is from Ukraine, and my mom is from the south of Russia.
So,
Uh,
so
and
you're Ukrainian. You're half Ukrainian as well.
yeah. Because like it's the same story as with the Jews. Lots of people are half Ukrainians, to be honest.
Yeah, but you know
You
what?
gotta go through.
You guys listen and listen. We're gonna do another show, Kirill. You don't know this, but we're about to do another show with you later, and it's
Okay.
called the show is called Where Are You From? And basically,
Okay.
what I do is I interview people from all over the world that are players, but we talk about their culture, their flags, their food. So you're on the list, okay?
Okay, yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, that's a great thing that you're doing because like no one is actually doing that. I
Well,
would love to see the show on the Go Sports actually because
let's-
they must have some kind of like relaxed and more interesting show over there because you can't always speak only about matches and about
exactly.
XL tournaments and all that stuff.
We'll talk to them about it, and then we can do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But you guys, listen. When we're talking about Ukraine is a separate country. I mean, it's like Canada and America. I mean,
Yes.
actually, they even have their own different language. So don't get them
Yeah.
confused. So now, wait, your mom was your mom Ukrainian, or your dad? Your dad.
My dad was Ukrainian. Yeah.
Now, was he a Russian Ukrainian that just immigrated there when Stalin put all the people there, or was
No. You're
Ukrainian?
No. We start mixing up things. Let's not mixing up things. There was
Okay.
a USSR. There was a USSR, and Ukraine was the part of the USSR. And actually, all the USSR citizens, they were feeling themselves like a USSR people. Doesn't matter where from you were, like from Georgia or from
Right.
Ukraine or
Right.
from Russia or from somewhere else, you were still feeling yourself as a USSR
Okay.
citizen, right?
Okay.
So there were no definitions, and people were kind of more united, as the US people are, yeah? Because like
Right.
the guys from Arkansas are not going to say that they are special Americans. Yeah, they're gonna say, I'm a US person, yeah, I'm a US
Exactly.
citizen. So all the same was in the USSR, but since after it's crashed, well, those little republics, they were finally they created the countries out themselves, like separate countries, and now Ukraine is a 100% separate country. So is the Belarusia and some other
Mhm.
regions that were used to be the part of the USSR before. Now they're not. Yeah. So
Nice.
and usually when such kind of a borders are common, there come some tensions. It's normal, but back then when my mom and dad met each other, they were like the USSR people. They were not like hey, I'm from Canada, or
Right.
like
Right.
I'm from
Exactly.
Mexico. Yeah. let's make kids in US. Yeah, well, we can do better.
Exactly. I got it. Okay. So you're, I'm guessing age-wise about 22.
46.
I'm just
46.
saying, I was
I'm
going to say
46
22 to
now.
make you happy. You're 46. Okay, cool. So listen, I was born 15 years after the war ended. I'll just put it to you that way in perspective, right? And I grew up with all of that stuff. I grew up in America with John Wayne movies and war and that kind of stuff. And so, it's in my psyche.
David, are you sure that you're only 15 years after the war? Because you look like really fresh. And
I know.
maybe
It's
you a vampire, like a Californian
you know what?
vampire over there.
No, you know what it is? I think my mom lied on the birth certificate or something. I don't know. I swear to God. Listen, and it's all real, right?
It's all real. Fantastic.
I'm making that up. But anyway, listen. Yeah. So I grew up in that time period in America where we were like post-war baby boom, that kind of thing, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So my psyche is influenced by that. Your parents were probably either born after the war or during the war.
No,
Am I?
my mom and dad are of 1959 and 1960.
That's when they
So
were born.
yeah, they are your age.
Wait a minute. And you're 40? When did they have you? When they were 13?
No, I'm making a joke. I'm 34 right now. I'm like,
You asshole. All right. All right. So I could be your daddy, right? I could.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. Who's your daddy now? All right. Anyway, so all right. But were they were in Soviet era Russia and waiting in lines and all that kind of stuff. Did that kind of stuff affect them that affected you? I mean, because you were there also before the wall. I mean, you were alive when the wall was up, and then you were when it went down. So did this have any effect on you?
Yeah, in the 90s, well, things turned around from head to toes really quick. Everybody realized that USSR were kind of lying to everybody about the propaganda. And everybody understood that things are not so bad, and it's much better to be friends with another countries than to be always as enemies with them.
Right.
And since you guys had like a much more interest in economical culture with all the, let's say, jeans and bubblegum, yeah, everything came like really deep, quick, together with the cartoons in all of the kids in Russia in the 90s.
Wow.
So everybody been watching Walt Disney cartoons, all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Right.
and all that features. So we kind of have the same codes, the cultural codes
I like that.
that your kids also had during those days.
That's cool. All right. So when did paintball come to Russia?
Nobody knows for sure, but that's around 1994 and 1995 in between those 2 years, because like it was like too early for me, so I was not amongst the father creators, but nobody nowadays made like a complete history. Thus, you can say, okay, this date in 1994, the paintball was first time brought to Moscow, Russia, whatever else. Well, let's say mid of 90s.
Okay. We have a guy named Thomas Kraus. He's a German guy from the Euro Big Game, and he actually had a field. He was the first one to create a field in Eastern Germany like when the wall was still up.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of like the father of, you know, Eastern Germany. And I'm just wondering if there was any connection, like, you know, if he brought paintball over in the early time, you know,
Now,
where
what I know, so sorry to interrupt you. What I know about the paintball in Moscow, one of the guys who has created after one of the biggest clubs for average people, which was called the Paintland. So he went for the World Cup for the first time himself, and after that, he brought some guns, some gear, some paints, and he decided to kind of make something alike in November, right after the World Cup, and that's actually the birthday for the Russian paintball. It's somewhere in November. That's what I also remember. So that was the story. Like, he brought it, and those people who tried it after, they couldn't resist it.
Obviously, no one can resist it. It's like a drug, baby. I love it.
It's like a drug, but all at the same time, it has a huge trouble that everybody knows about us. That our sport is about the aggression, and that's why we can't get to TV, we can't get normal sponsors and all that features. But we must break it. It's nothing about the aggression. Our sport is one of the sports where you can't even touch an opponent. It's 100% a gentleman's sports when no one is kicking you. Yeah, or trying to hit you with a stick in the head or pump you to the ground.
You're right.
What aggression are you guys talking about?
No, I agree 100%, and that's why I think they're lumping us in now with golf courses when they're opening them up for the COVID thing. So we're actually, a lot of paintball parks are actually opening up, which is great because we keep our distance. We're wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's the open space too.
It's the open space. I like it. Okay, so you said around the middle of the 90s, and then so when did you pick up your first gun and say, "Hey, this is for me"?
That was a cool story because, like, for the first time, I think that I saw paintball on TV because there was a show on TV where one of the parts of that show, there were like two teams, and they were making different type of the activities there. And one of the activities, one of the stages was about paintball. They were shooting each other. And when I saw that on TV, I was like, wow, what they're doing, like, what is that? Why they're wearing the goggles exactly like from the Star Wars or something like that? Yeah. I was like really interested in that. Then, like, later I saw the equipment in one of the sports stores in Moscow, and I was like double shocked. I was like, is it real? Is it like real? Because when I saw the television, I was not completely sure. Was it real, or was it like a how's that? Television magic, you know, like they were doing something crazy. And then for the third time, we went a couple of times outside of the city for recreation, actually, like riding horses and staying like at the countryside. And right besides the horse riding stage, I always heard somebody. Wow. And then when we were like riding the road, I saw like broken paintballs, and they were like total magic, like alien stuff, like predator stuff, because I even remember the color. It was exactly the color of a predator blood. And I was like, what am I doing over here? Why am I riding horses? I want to go there in the forest, but I didn't know how to do that. And then after a couple of years, I found myself into a children's camp for the winter time, where we had a chance to play paintball. And that was my first time to play paintball there after like 5 years of awakeness, you know, like I was like dreaming about that. I was thinking about that. Actually, by that time, when I finally come as close to paintball as possible, I actually totally forgot about those kids' memories, about that magic stuff that I barely experienced. Wow. And that was in the beginning of the 2000, actually. That was a new year of 1999 into the 2000. I just came into that children's camp, and that's where I finally played paintball for the first time.
Dude, okay, so how old were you?
Back then, how old I was back then?
When you actually got the bug and said, I'm going to do this. This is amazing. You were like
12, I was like seven or 9 years old.
Wait. So when you were riding the horses when you were 7 or 8, right?
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, you jumped into the action. That's when you actually did it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was 13 or 14 when I played paintball for the first time. Yeah, so we were like riding horses when I was 9, something like that.
Dude, that's amazing. Now, that what you heard, that wasn't the big game that they do in Russia all the time, right?
No, that was not a big game. That was like some average field where just simple clients were coming and shooting against each other. It was
Nice.
when I'm repeating in my head those sounds, I realized that there were like not more than 10 people.
Okay.
When you
So
realize like the amount of fire over there.
So it started off small in the night, like in the 90s, whatever else. And then you guys, the reason I'm mentioning that is that there's a big game in Russia.
It is a huge tradition.
It's huge. It's a huge, big game. And you have to first be, as a outsider, you have to be invited, and you have to get a visa, and you have to, I mean, there's so many things you have to do to be able to go to this game. Gary keeps on saying, you know, we're going to get you there. And I'm like, all right, I'll go. So we're going to see.
Yeah, not now for sure. Yeah, but the best thing to start from is just a visa. You just get a visa and you could go out.
I'm gonna get a visa, and I have to get a passport too, right?
you should have a passport.
Yeah, I have a passport right now. Wait a minute.
Yeah, the U.S. driver license won't gonna work. Yeah,
I'm gonna do that. Hey, wait a minute. I have a problem here. Dude, I think it's on your end. Hold on a second.
Oh, fantastic.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Great to see you face to face. David knows what to do. Fantastic.
You're welcome. So you guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is Gary Baum from Paintball Photography. If you don't know who he is, there we go. There's a shot of him.
Wow.
So this is Gary giving Kirill secrets on where the players are going, and never do that. But basically, Gary Baum from Paintball Photography is he's the official photographer for the Russian Legion, and he's kind of like their
photographer. Come on, David. I'm just getting a little bit hot. I feel myself like in a super show.
He's actually, what he does is he's kind of like their behind the scenes godfather. Like when they come to the States, he makes sure everything's taken care of. He makes sure everything is like in order, and he makes sure all the doors open so they can go play where they need to play. He's a big supporter and a big fan of you guys.
Not from the very beginning, maybe, but from the middle of the way. Gary has become that magic person for us out there.
I think it's been about 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is from 2008. Wait a second.
You originally emailed me.
No. We've been from Phoenix 2008, sir. It's 12 years since now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And first time you came to Moscow was 2010 for the big maneuvers, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we already knew those.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, that happened to Gary 2018. 2000.
Yes. Right, we have to do it again.
Probably not now. Yeah, not now.
I know. Yeah. This will all be over soon.
But that's a great because David has been asking me about those Cold War features and the way how we finally managed to force through those crazy ideas that we have been input during the long USSR period of time, but with a huge help of Gary, we are breaking those borders down and show that it is possible to cooperate, be big friends and supporters to each other.
Yeah, I think paintball is pretty much borderless. I think, players are players. It doesn't matter where they're from, be it tournaments or scenarios or any form of paintball. And, I say, I'm Switzerland. I support everybody.
But when you say that you support everybody, once again, you're not saying that you are a huge honorable man. So Switzerland also was not like that right away. They were getting their respect and honor, to become such kind of a personality in the end.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm here to help everybody, and I'm here, just to have a good time basically and promote everybody. And there are people who kind of show the love back to me, and you guys are one of them. And there are other teams that, are indifferent, and that's fine, whatever. You kind of receive what you give me back, I guess.
Karma.
That's karma.
Yep.
That's karma.
Yeah, exactly. So Gary, Gary has been a friend of mine since the early 90s, way before I even knew about paintball. He wouldn't talk about paintball when we were friends. It was like Fight Club. And only when I found out about it in 2008 is when he said, I know how you are. Don't get involved. Just be a player. And I said, no, I already got these crazy ideas. And so, I ran with it. And here I am today. And I'm interviewing this cool cat and that cool cat. And so Gary, again, he's this guy behind the scenes that, yes, he's taking pictures, but he's much more than that. So
it's much more than that. And let us tell you the story. It was, looks like it's going to be the only one story about tournament paintball this year. Yeah.
Yes.
But that has happened before the tournament in Las Vegas, actually. And like a month before coming to Las Vegas, to actually Los Angeles, to the ocean side, everybody knew about COVID by that time, but it was far in China and nobody take lots of attention, especially in US and Russia about that. That's why we were still like flying around and had like a nice plan and all that stuff. So we have planned to have a practice as always in Cape Pendleton a month before coming over there. So 2 weeks after, guys told us, yes, okay, no problem, come in. So we booked everything, spent our money. And next day, we have received an email from people from the paintball field that, sorry, guys, we just have received an email from the military base. You can enter. Like no other foreigners can enter the field. And since I'm the guy who's responsible for all the planning and organization, I felt my ass like in a huge fire. I didn't know what to do. So I just barely told Gary about our trouble, and Gary perfectly helped us with this. But Gary also helped us like the last week, because like I sent a request to help to anybody in this area who can do that, maybe to find in other fields, maybe something else. But only Gary managed to make a deal with the Hollywood Sports Park and organized for us over there a couple of practices where in the end I met you, David, in person, and you met other guys and tried to make some jokes with them with vodka and a bar of a chocolate.
Yeah, no, I think Gio deserves.
So Gary was not just a media partner for us; he was the sponsor who organized our second place overall at the tournament too.
Nice. Good job,
I think
Gary.
a lot to thank Gio for in Hollywood Sports. I mean, he sort of went above and beyond, and Bear also. They were wonderful. And, I called Gio up and I said, I got a problem. I need you to help me. And he said, whatever you need, it is yours. And I said, well, I got the Russians coming.
That's Gio, yeah. And we actually been at this field last time, like 2006, 2007, I believe. 2007 last time. Yes, and I met Gio as a person over there. And, yeah, he was a great person back then. I believe nothing changed, and with huge help of Gary, that has happened. But once again, Gio might gonna see my request for help too, but he didn't react. I believe that Bear saw my request and didn't react to it, but Gary managed to make it happen.
Yeah, I kind of put the parts together.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's more than what you do. So they needed, they didn't have enough room in the cars, and you live on one side of the planet, and you got a bunch of guys, and you drove all the way down to Oceanside, right? Hello, yes, come on.
That was a while back.
No, that was at the NXL at Vegas, this past Vegas. And I remember that, and because you wanted to make sure that they got to their hotel, everything was fine. Dude, come on. You're just like, you're too nice of a guy. And
who is he talking about, Gary? Nah.
This should be Gary's show. This will be Gary. This is you know what? This is actually right. This is his show. We just try to like trap him, right? We didn't really. This is really not about Kirill. It's hard to get Gary.
I just push the button.
It's hard to get Gary on the show, so we're just trying to trap you in, Gary, and then this is your show, and No, it's great. But Gary, listen, again, we all appreciate what you do. You're an amazing cat, and thank you very much. And I knew it would be, I knew it would put a smile on.
I believe. Can I just interrupt you, Devin,
Sure.
for a second, just to give another explanation about how cool Gary is, because you keep saying that, yeah, and nobody kind of understands what really cool is about Gary. So let me tell you a little story about the tournament paintball. A couple of years ago, there was a PSP around, yeah, paintball sports promotion,
Right.
and those guys were trying to make the league as more professionals as possible. So they were asking all photographers somehow to get like really hard identifications, and they were like making different troubles for them to enter the field, because they wanted only their photographers and their videographers to give a picture to the audience, right? And that's how paintball was dying back then, because everybody knows that anything nowadays can be alive only with a beautiful picture. And
Right.
as many pictures we got around and well spread around the net, the better it is for everyone, right? Only Gary back then understood that they were making wrong things. And
Yes.
Gary, instead of just saying, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore, he
Right.
kept around. And with his positive mindset and with his professionalism, he managed to make nowadays hundreds of photographers at any event. And after every event, doesn't matter if it's the NXL event or some other event, millions of pictures are spread around the net. Millions. So that's Gary, the godfather of paintball nowadays.
Thank you. No, I've always sort of had a philosophy. I like to sort of be invisible, kind of behind the scenes. But I worked with the PSP for a while. Actually, I worked with every league, and I worked as a media advisor for the PSP. And I made a lot of suggestions to them how to market and how to get more photographers onto the field. And their response to me was they fired me. The PSP had an operating philosophy: if it's just okay, don't fix it.
Wow.
And
and then Texas came, and then the Texas came.
Texas came, and that was I think the primary audience on this is scenario people, but Texas was it was like watching a disaster happen in slow motion. I could see it coming. It would have been so easy to prevent the mud from inundating the field, but the PSP chose to do nothing, and it destroyed the event, and it was awful. But with photographers, towards the end of the PSP reign, before they sort of fell apart from within, they kept making it more and more difficult to get onto the field. You had to have insurance, which I never understood. They required each photographer to carry a liability insurance policy of $1 million. And that didn't make any sense. I mean, am I going to take a bad picture and hit you or hurt you? Or are you going to run into my camera and be injured by my camera? I mean, we're not really at risk. I didn't understand, or we don't cause injuries. We just take pictures, maybe a bad picture. I don't know. But they required a liability. That would be about $500 per photographer per day. And that basically wiped out all of the media at the last PSP event, unless you work for one of the major sponsors. My philosophy, which I brought over to the NXL, is I want as many cameras on the field as possible. In the divisional fields, if you're upright and above room temperature, and have a camera, you'll get onto the field. That's fine. And I want to make it as simple and easy as possible. I do that for a number of reasons. First of all, it puts hundreds of thousands of pictures onto the internet, into all the social media, and that helps everybody in the sport. It helps the league, it helps the players. Also, the players spend a lot of money. They want to go home with something, give them pictures, make it easy. But also, the divisional fields is where the next generation of pro paintball photographers is going to come from. I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't know how many more years I have left in me, but we need to develop the next generation of photographers. They're going to come from the divisional fields. On the pro fields, I set into motion a whole organization system where I looked at each person, made sure that they were qualified to be on the field. There were liability things they had to sign, their agreements with Go Sports. There was a whole protocol that I did to get people registered onto the pro field. I took media and I divided it up into 2 categories. I took away any kind of insurance. because it makes no sense. So I just made it simpler. I computerized everything, and that's kind of where we are today. I can tell you that the last World Cup had more media than any other paintball event in history.
That's true.
We have even the last the NXL event in Las Vegas. I think we had over 150 media people, which is just incredible. And you know, how many pictures do those people produce? And it just helps everybody. And there's no reason to make it difficult for these people. So if you want to go onto the divisional field, you know, email me. You got to have an APPA number. There is a fee that the APA charges to register you, which which I cut in half. I'm trying to get rid of it, but we shouldn't charge anyone to come onto the field. I want as many cameras as possible, promote the sport. It helps everybody. It's that simple. You know, we don't even make this complicated.
Definitely. And due to Gary, we finally are having this reality at NXL. That's fantastic. Like usually before that, the lower amount of photographers you have around, less photographers the divisional fields are having. But we have the most amount of people at the divisional fields, and those guys really want to have pictures of them there.
It works well, but it has some problems. And you know, if there's a problem on a field, CJ, who's the head ref, will contact me and I will solve it right there. I've known Tom Cole for 20 years, and basically what he's told me with the media, he says, I don't want to know anything about it. You solve everything. You have absolute authority. So if there is a problem and I have one of my media people doing something inappropriate, they're gone. I just can't have that. You got to go. I mean, I think it was last year at the Texas event, there was a team that hired 2 media people. And this is really very funny. And they said, you know what, we want you people to go on the field for all our games and don't take pictures of us, take pictures of the teams we're playing against.
Okay.
Isn't that brilliant? So that way, so word of that got to me, and I'm like, you know, this is a brilliant idea. You know, that way you just look at your media people you hired and see where their cameras are pointed, and it points people out. It's a great idea. But no, you can't do that. And I kicked them out. Absolutely inappropriate. Or, you know, we had another incident in Las Vegas, which I won't go into, where somebody, there was a call on the field. The ultimate ref made a call, and an individual on the pro field said, I don't agree with that. This is a media person, and showed one of the players the replay in his camera, which contradicted the referee's call, which is absolutely inappropriate. You know, the media has to be completely independent. It's like we're not there. You know, I always tell David, I want to be like a wedding photographer. No one knows when I get there. No one knows when I leave. I'm just part of the scenery. But we're not there to interact in any way. But this person caused such a problem, you know, on the pro field with a particular team, and it's just inappropriate. The referees, you know, they're the judge, jury, and executioner. Whatever they say is what it is. You know, players always ask me about what I think, and I usually say, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm not going to comment. You know, am I out? I don't know. I don't even talk, or actually, I don't even answer them. I completely ignore them, and I tell players that the referees really, it doesn't matter what you saw, what you think you saw, what actually happened. The only thing that matters is what the referees said. And just walk off the field.
Well, there is actually another part of the coin about the media. From one point of view, you're actually supposed to be neutral. Yeah, like you're not supposed to have like any conversations with the players. Like they can't ask you for your opinion. But last year, like we got like two cases when media people helped teams to take their real victory, right? So first it happened to us in Prague, when we were playing against the team US with the team Russia, and
that was in Europe.
Yeah, that was in Europe, and Alex Goldman come bunker our last player Fedorov and sprinted as quick as possible to the button to push it. And we all from the players area saw that he got a hit from Fedorov on his knee. No one else saw that, and we couldn't prove it. And only one photographer had it on his camera. He brought it to the coach refs and showed refs like, "Hey, here's the hit. See it?" And by that, we get a victory. And then karma made a circle back, and I am almost with the same case in the World Cup finals. couldn't go fully to make my 2 kills over there and bring victory to my team. And the victory went to hits with the correct call from the refs, because it was like straight on the camera, big hit that I didn't feel on my elbow. Yeah, so that happens. And that's the part of media, actually, the biggest part of media, because usually when you don't know what decision to take, maybe some of those guys have it on his camera.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think the NXL has a replay system. They should depend upon that. But to grab somebody's camera and look at it, it's just, we're not there. We're invisible. We don't take any part. We should not influence what happens on the field. Whether we have evidence that it was a bad call, we can't do that, because then, it's going to create a situation where after every match,
then everyone
every single camera. And it's just like, and no, they need to have their own system and leave us alone. I think
got it. Now I got it.
It just makes it more complicated, and it's always been that way. I mean, was it the Orange County event with Dynasty and Joy Division? I don't know if anyone knows about that. The same thing happened. I mean, I had, now I probably shouldn't say what I'm going to say, but I was there. I watched the whole thing, and with all due respect to my Dynasty friends, this goes back a long time. I saw what happened. I had photographic evidence, but I didn't do anything. It was a bad call. So it happens. Even when you have instant replay, they make bad calls. So I think the referees, if you Google the word referee, it explains what they do. They make the call. It's up to them. And, I've probably seen more tournaments, I would say, than anybody alive, I would say. And I think the refs are right 95% of the time, at least the pro refs, the PSP and the NXL. Those are the most professional refs. They're great. They're right 90% of the time. Leave them alone. And if you have photographic evidence that overturns what they say, it's just not healthy for them. You don't do that. Let them do their thing. And calls go the wrong way sometimes, and sometimes you benefit, and sometimes you don't. And it's part of the game, like any other sport. That's just my 2 cents.
Got it. That's a wise way of thinking, and actually being a media person. Yeah.
Kirill, you're on the field. You have a different emotional involvement, whereas me, I stay very detached, and even in tournaments, I can tell players are looking at me. In fact, I probably shouldn't say this, but one of the most entertaining things I do as a match winds down, I always like to point my camera at empty bunkers and watch what happens. It's just very amusing. I don't do that to any team other than any other team. I just know that people are looking at me. I can always tell the game winds down. And I look at the team, and it's like vultures circling. It's about to end, and they're all looking at the media. So I got to keep them honest. And I do it on both sides. I do it to everybody, but it's just, you don't realize it as a media person how much people are looking at you. But they have the same problem with the refs, and I think the refs do the same thing also. They kind of walk over to bunkers with nobody there to kind of keep everybody honest.
only, yeah. So keep going, David. You for sure have some other questions for us.
No. I was going to say, if 2 planes are flying to Oklahoma at the same time and one run out of gas, I'm just joking. You don't like those questions. All right. Anyway, listen, Gary, Nima, we're trying to get Nima on too. He was to do that. But he said he's got a problem with his phone. Maybe it's the Iranians or something. I got no idea. But we're not. We're going to get him on. We'll get him on again. But you guys, just quickly, there's some comments here. I guess I want you guys to check out. This is from Romania. So there you go. And Sweden says hello too. Richie, Rosemary. We got Germany. Who's this guy? I can't even. I don't. Who is this guy? What's this thing? I don't know what that is. Nima said he has a quick question, and he was excited about Gary being on for the live show. That was great. Lisa has already read my mind. Yes, we are going to do a photographers show just about the paintball photographers. we're going to do that. That'll be great. Matt, you know Matt?
Yeah. The
He said,
coach from Mutiny.
nice. And Sweden, what is Gary's right? For the picks that he makes the players haven't gone to the event, both. Yeah, I like it. So listen, Gary, I don't want to keep you from your adjusting of the teeth.
Actually, we're trying to get the office reopened, so I have all kinds of crazy protocols and
Unbelievable.
reality of today.
I know, unbelievable. Is that a new jacket you're wearing? Where'd you get that?
Yeah, I gotta like wear like a spacesuit now when I work, like a moon suit.
Unbelievable.
New reality. It's okay though. You know, I think in my field in medicine and dentistry, I think some of the changes, you know, for us, they're not really that significant. It's just fine tuning stuff we do. But there's a lot of things that we should have looked at more carefully, and we will now, which is fine. And
Okay.
you know, it's okay.
Nice. So, whoops, I'm stuck again. Never mind. I'll be unstuck in a second. I gotta fix to get it in the camera. So listen, Gary, thank you very much again for popping in. You're always a cool cat, and you added that extra ingredients to this
Good.
cake that we're making, and you made it rise. How's that? Yay!
Excellent. So, Kirill, you're going to be at the East Coast regional and you know.
You're not the first person to ask about that. You know, the borders are still locked, so we can.
I know that's why
whatever. But until the borders are locked, we can't plan anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I think your regional division is should favor you tremendously.
Yeah,
the
actually,
South and West are rough.
The South Central was supposed to be ours. Yeah, we better switch with the Mel Kings too.
Well, you know, to me, you could fly the other direction and be on the West Coast. It's about equal either way.
That's also true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad flight.
All right, brother.
Yeah, bye-bye, Gary. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
That was a
Bye,
great
Gary.
surprise ever.
Thank you very much. Happy birthday to you. This is like your birthday, right? This is amazing.
Almost. Yeah, that's a fantastic feeling. Now I understand people at the live shows at the television when the organizers of the show bring somebody in who they didn't expect that's going to be there. It's crazy feelings. But from my side, that was a great feelings because we have a good relations with Gary. So that was not a big stress in that. Just positive emotions.
Perfect. Okay. So you were 14, 15 when you got the bug. And did you only play rec ball or did you go to tournament?
So actually, the children's camp was having a chance to play as a teams. So different squads of that camp up to the age, they were creating their teams. And in the end of the staying at the camp, we had a tournament there. So I got sports paintball directly. So we were playing at a short field with specific bunkers out there on a short distance, with tipments, with all that stuff. So I didn't try it as a rag ball. I tried it as a sports ball right away.
Very cool. Okay. This is the earliest one I could find.
That's 2009.
2009. Okay.
Yeah.
When did you actually get involved with the Russian Legion and this whole speedball thing?
Just in a year, like 2001, I already joined Russian Legion because like the 2000 I spent with the kids team and then major team of that club of Paintlands. But since my friend went to Russian Legion, I thought that I also supposed to go to the Russian Legion. And I managed to do that next summer. So in the end of the 2001, we already went to the first ever World Cup for the Russian Legion and for me too, actually.
Wow. Okay. So wait, when did they start? When did the Russian Legion, when was it created?
1996 or 5. Once again, history is like pretty not straight, but they started right away when paintball just arrived to Russia.
So 4 years before that, you were on a horse looking at these predator balls on the ground. 5 years later, you start playing, and just when you start playing is when the Russian Legion starts to kind of maybe so you're kind of like connected with this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like this weird psyche of all this.
The Russian Legion actually has been like a tough team at the Russian circuit, at Moscow circuit, like a tough team since 1998. And
Yeah.
if you were playing like a sports ball back then, and I had a chance in the autumn time of the 2000s to play tournaments and to play a tournament against Russian Legion team, I was shocked. I thought that it is not possible to play this way. Then I saw those guys play in the finals, and I was shocked again. And then we had like a couple of practices against them during the summer, and I was scared like a lot because those guys were running and bunkering you, and I never experienced it before. So no, the team was already set. The team was already pretty good in Europe too. So I just joined the best franchise in Moscow area by that time.
So do you want to get shocked again?
Yeah. Nima, fantastic.
Hey, Kirill.
We
going?
never seen each other in person like that. We're always
Yeah.
and like having some support to each other. Fantastic. Gary would be also really happy to see you, buddy.
Yeah, where's Gary? Gary's gone?
No,
Yeah.
we're going to see if we can get him back in. But anyway, Nima, salam chatori.
Salam to Chatori.
Messi,
He's speaking in Farsi, by the way.
Messi, Khudafiz Khubi.
Mercy. So it's really an honor to be here on the show.
It's an honor
one of
to
the
have
best.
It's listen, it's hard to get this guy. He's usually with the Iranian consulate and the parliament. He's making decisions about what's. No, I'm joking. This guy is Nima, and Nima is in Iran right now, and it's very difficult for this guy to do. Obviously, if you know politics, excuse me, it's very difficult for him to do anything, and he is so connected to our sport as far as like putting up pictures. He's connected with Gary about putting like, the background, all the, this, I can't explain to you about this guy. This guy is so connected.
Yeah.
Everybody in our sport, and then nobody knows who he is.
Let me introduce Nima.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nima is the person from Iran. Yeah, like there is only one team from Iran that probably everybody knows. It's Datis, right?
Exactly.
But Nima has never been to Datis. He was just the person who liked paintball a lot, and he wanted to support Russian Legion back in those days. And with the huge help of Gary, we managed to make this connection. And Nima is our biggest fan. We are sending through Gary to Nima some presents almost every year, and we just support Nima to love what he loves a lot and stay tough. Doesn't matter what the political situation is still happening in Iran, because those things can end next day and you never know what's going to happen, because we have almost the same over here in Russia. So don't be that destroyed and frustrated, believe me.
That is true, and it's really a huge honor to be in touch with guys like you and Gary. Always just
quickly
sent me some very. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Keep going.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Farsi. What are you saying? I'm sorry, I don't speak Farsi.
Well, am I speaking Farsi?
No.
It's always a huge honor, and Gary has sent me very wonderful gifts. That's through you, actually, and the wonderful jerseys you have sent me, signed by you guys. And, it's been really a huge honor to be a fan of you guys. I mean, it's awesome.
It is fantastic.
I was wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, that's the best part of paintball, because, like, we got a second connection.
There he is, Gary Brown.
Yeah, there we go. Triple play, David.
You guys, I'm gonna go take my dogs for a walk. I'll see you guys later. Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna have another hour over here. Talk to you.
Gary, thank you very much. What a show! Actually, I've never expected to be here. I mean, awesome. Thank you, David, for making this happen.
You're welcome. This is your life. We're going to talk only about you now. I'm just joking. No.
Gary, by the way, you like the shirt?
There you go. I remember those.
Yeah. That's paintball
You really
photography.
need to make these shirts again.
I know. There's so many things I need to do again.
Yeah.
Everybody has it. But what I was going to tell you, that's the way how paintball actually works. Yeah. So we have a connection of people of multi-age. We know each other, and we can have a wonderful conversation from different parts of the world. And we all been connected by that fantastic sports that mass media considers to be an aggressive way of sport. Yeah, those are my friends from Australia. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm really happy that actually David made that too. It's a huge honor for me too to be together with Nima, who I have never seen in person this way, and together with her. Someday,
Yeah,
yes,
hopefully.
someday we all gonna meet all together at the World Cup. Yeah, and it's gonna be like the very bright future. Let's focus on that. Just on that.
We'll be okay.
So you guys listen, with Nima, again, he's super connected to our sport. He really can't do much as far as leaving Iran and doing something, but he does everything on social media. He's connected to everybody. He's always trying to help promote and, getting the word out there about that. But the cool thing that we try to do with him is like last year, I think it was, I was talking with him on the phone, and I did Facebook Live I was doing FaceTime. And so because he doesn't get to travel, I turned the phone around and I was just driving around the town, and he was actually, I was pointing out, this is a Persian area. They do this over here. They do that over there. And then Gary upped that when he was having a conversation. Gary was driving from Los Angeles to Vegas, and he did another phone connection.
Yes, Nima and I drove together from Los Angeles.
That was an awesome experience.
To Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
That was incredible. Really loved it. Really loved it.
And it was a Waze cam that he could actually move the camera around. And as soon as the sun came up at about San Bernardino, I turned the camera on and we talked about all kinds of stuff. A little bit about paintball, but more like, what my life is like, what his life is like, our philosophy on how we deal with people, the world.
It was awesome.
It was great. It made the drive go really quickly. And he got to see the countryside. I mean, the camera was like swiveling back and forth all the time. It was amazing. And it was from a technological
it was
standpoint,
like a 4-hour conversation we had, right?
Yeah, but it was so easy to do. I mean, I just tethered. I don't want to go into tech stuff, but it was the camera itself is about $35, and I just tethered it off my phone and plugged it into the power source of my car, and it was boom. It worked perfectly. I couldn't believe how easy it was. And the camera, like I said, is $35. It was amazing.
And all at the same time, the internet connection in desert. Yeah, in between LA and Vegas.
Yeah, I did it all. Look at that. Oh, that's my media jersey from World Cup.
That's from the World Cup.
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
The Leos one. Fantastic.
Yeah, I send in packages all the time. Did you get the latest one?
Well, not yet. It's in Dubai yet, and waiting for the guy in Dubai to respond to me. Actually, still haven't got the 2019 jersey you have sent me.
Yeah, every year.
So, as far as Nima getting his packages, it's not from Gary's house to Iran. It has to go through so many different hands because of this political situation. And I mean, there's a chef that works in England, and he knows a butler in France who can give it to a guy in Kuwait, and that guy in Kuwait might be stopping in Jordan, and the Jordan. That's how many people have to go through to get to Nima. But we love this guy so much that it doesn't matter.
This whole thing is ridiculous. You know, sports are sports. There are no borders in what we do. What do we do? But I want to get political, or else we'll be into a different world.
No COVID, no political. But anyway, listen, you guys, it's amazing. This is the first time that Nima's been on the show, and he was like, he's a super fan, but he's not only a super fan. This is his life. This is what keeps him going. Like we always talk about, the community and all that. I'm showing you guys right now we've got Russia, we've got Iran, we've got all of these people that are part of this amazing community, and it's more than paintball. It's something special that just like, listen, this poor guy, where I'm not gonna say where in Iran you are, but this poor guy in Iran, he has it worse than a lot of what you guys might think. But you know what's keeping him happy is this and our sport. You know what I'm saying? There's something, and he's got a connection with Kirill. He's got a connection with Gary, and got a connection with me, and for that, his mind can wander, and it can be out of this situation that he's in there, and it can be like free and say, hey, I've got paintball. Paintball is keeping me happy. So you guys, I keep on. That's what I tell you about paintball. I love this thing, and I love what it does for people.
Fantastic.
Well,
That's definitely true.
Great example.
Definitely true.
Well
Nice.
said.
Definitely true.
Nice. All right. Listen, this is supposed to be Kirill's show, but you guys keep on interrupting. So, I don't mind. Listen, Kirill, it's almost been an hour and something. We can do a part 2, or we can, I don't know. It's 9 o'clock right now in Russia, right?
Yeah.
And it's 8 o'clock in Iran. What time is it there?
Yeah, by the way, yeah, it is. No, it's 10:30 p.m. here.
It's later for the guys right now. It's like
You know what time it is in LA?
No.
It's 11.
I have to go to the bank.
Can I
I have to go to the bank
yeah,
soon.
can I ask questions to Kirill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I
For
gave up.
sure, I would
already.
love to. I mean,
gave up.
which state of America is your favorite state to play tournament paintball? I mean, you have been to so many states like California, Texas, Illinois.
It's California. Due to
Uh-huh.
weather conditions. It's just
Right,
there
right.
every time. It's better when it's hot, but it's worse when it's
Right.
dry. Yeah, and when it's wet, when it's raining actually. So in all other states, you have a chance of rain, and when it's raining, when it's mud, it's not fun to play. In California, it has never happened this way. Plus, we got Gary over there. Yeah,
Here's California.
Right.
yeah. Here's California.
Exactly.
California. It's we call it Groundhog Day. Every day is the same day. Everything- exactly. We like it. Nima, what other questions do you have for Kirill?
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, there are some questions in my mind that I would like to ask Kirill. You have been to some venues before in the past years. I mean, but they do not play. I mean, they don't run the tournaments there. Have you missed any venue or any city that used to be played but not anymore?
Actually, not so much. I mean, I missed some of the venues in Europe, which I really liked to visit.
Right.
But
Like what?
Yes, in Europe, I really like the Bitburg event. Yeah, maybe it was like away from the Frankfurt, like away from the big cities, but that was like so compact, so nice, just for the paintball players. All of that small city was covered with the paintball players, so it was just amazing. Maybe I also miss like a Turkish event because it was only, but it was.
And you read my mind.
Exactly, and we should try to
In
do.
Antalya.
Yeah, Antalya. We should repeat it like in a better life, in a better world,
Yeah.
for sure. But in
Turkey
US,
was amazing.
if you switch places, you're not kind of
Right.
ruin things too much because
Or
all
Paris.
all the US is like really nice and wealthy spreaded, so you feel kind of not a big difference through state to state or from city to city.
Yeah, I think Paris
Right,
is
right.
one of my favorites in Europe.
Just
from the it's just the environment.
It's the cultural environment. Yes, for sure.
A lot of French people.
Yeah.
That's what they make them.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm in trouble.
Exactly. Listen, you guys, hang on a second. We've got from Romania.
Okay.
Hey, Kirill, would you please?
Nice.
Should we attend? Which is the best in your opinion? Why? Many thanks and regards from Romania. What scenario should we attend?
Big
Scenario game.
paintball maneuvers.
Scenario game. That was
Next couple of-
Alexandro is speaking about. Actually, right now we all are playing one scenario game that is called quarantine. Yeah.
That's very funny. You guys, listen. Go to the big game, the one that Gary keeps on trying to get me to go to. There's a big game in Russia.
But the next big game might gonna be in the fall time, means autumn time. But
Yeah.
nobody knows for sure because we still have the quarantine running, and we hope the borders are going to open in July. But the big maneuver is gonna be in September, just 2 months since that, and things can change rarely. Yeah, but as David is saying, 100% right. The big maneuvers are the biggest, the most interesting. And it's the historical event every time when it's happening over here.
Nice. Listen, here's this is hello from Portugal. This is Mario. He's I'm part of their team. This is the Blue Falcons.
Blue Falcons Squad.
Yeah. So he's saying a hello and big hugs from Portugal.
Fantastic. Die family. Yeah.
Nice. I'm sorry. What? I can't. You said something. What? I didn't want. No. This is the GI show. What are you talking about? What?
We can't say it. Okay. No problem.
We're all family. We're all family. All right. Who is? Do you guys know who Lance is? He's saying hello.
Oh yeah. Hey, Lance.
Lance. That's not
Back
Lance.
from Bears Cup.
Nice.
That's from this cup.
And all right, cool. So you guys listen. This has been exciting. This has been not the direction I was going to take it, but you know what? I'm flexible like Gumby, so it doesn't matter. I'm all over the place. I don't care, and it doesn't matter. We were just talking about when Kirill changed his diapers as a little kid. That's about the point we kept on getting to. And then we kept on like, that's okay. But anyway, no, you guys listen. You know what? You guys hang out. Kirill, let's just finish a little bit more of this, okay? Because I think there's going to be a Kirill 2.0. You know what I'm saying? I think that we need to talk a little bit.
We'll do the next one. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, let's just do this quickly. And I'm going to go through some of this stuff because I did a lot of homework last night till 2 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't sleep. And now this guy's mad at me. No, I'm just joking. That's his name is Mr. Nasty. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to jump around with some pictures here. You guys have done a lot of, what is this one here? That one. Okay. So where is this?
That's the Las
This
Vegas.
is Las Vegas.
In 2020, the beginning of this year, the finals.
The very last tournament in pro paintball.
Dude, that is crazy. And then this
Nice
one.
flag.
What is this crazy? Look at this amazing picture.
That's the same, and made by Gary.
Of course. That's Gary's shot.
I know where the focus button is.
That's very funny. Tell me about
This is 2018 World Cup.
listen to
Or
Nima.
2019.
Oh, no, Nima is
Nima's
2018.
right.
idiot savant when it comes to
You
this.
guys were all
But
wearing
that was 2018, right?
18.
all right.
Exactly. Yep.
And what is now? I know there used to be a magazine. There was 2 magazines when I first started. Gary told me about them. One was called Faceful and one was called Jungle. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
Oh, yeah.
This was I felt I
2009.
needed to show Kirill what I could do. So
Wow. That was
I
so.
thought I would get him on the cover of the biggest paintball, basically physically the biggest magazine, but also circulation-wise the biggest magazine worldwide. And I wanted to make a statement to him saying, "This Kirill, this is what I can do for you."
Wow.
And so that is it.
That was a huge honor, and the only time I made a cover of a magazine ever.
It'll happen again.
Nice.
It was like the great dead boxes, you know, where you had to run out of the netting and you got your barrel caught on the netting as you came out. Total yard sale. Oh yeah.
Nima knows it. Nima knows it.
What is, Nima,
Sure, it's 2018.
Nima, what color socks were they wearing? Come on.
No, come on. Don't do that. Actually, paintball is a great type of a sport. It's about the jerseys. And when you know the color schemes and codes and you follow the team for a long time, you can easily say the year, the season without any trouble. So Nima just knows it as a great specialist of our sports. Of the
Nice.
Thank you, Kirill.
Wow.
This is
How old-
2011.
With
Oh,
J-Rap.
yeah.
This is from the Chicago event, right? This is from the Chicago event, that famous 20 PSP Chicago.
Maybe not the Chicago. That was the second event of the season. It was not the Chicago then. I don't remember where it was.
The 2011, that was PSP Chicago was the only event that you won. It was against Dynasty and that overtime point.
See what I mean?
That was Chicago, right?
Don't argue with Nima. He knows. He knows everything.
Yeah.
And actually, we didn't win this game. That was Justin Rebekov who brought us to overtime with a fantastic run arounds over there, and Malloy.
2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
This
and
guy-
Malloy who took the overtime that was going back and forth, and then Malloy like one ball the last person of the dynasty over there, and that
One
was
of the most amazing games of all time, in my opinion.
Oh my God! We're not going to call this guy Mr. Baseball. We're going to call this guy Mr. Paintball. You
Mr.
are
Paintball, yeah.
okay.
That's how
I've known Nima for 10 years. He knows everything.
What is this?
Thank you, Gary.
no worries, Nima, come
This
on.
is from a Europe.
Yeah.
This is from a European event, or
It says it
no?
on
No,
the
this is
check.
from.
Hey,
Barcelona,
Oh, this is
Open.
this is the last one in Texas last year.
no,
No, look at the
it says
check.
it on the check, and I'm not even a detective. Look what it says
Look
on the
at-
check.
Oh yeah, this is from a European event for sure.
It
Isn't
says
Barcelona part of Texas?
Oh, I can see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, Nima,
Yeah,
you're
didn't
cracking
get
my
this one.
heart. Oh no, Nima.
No, the trick is that Nima got stuck by the trees out there, because usually the first event was always held in Texas, and when you can see those trees behind the main stage, you think, "Oh wow, it's Texas," but it's not. Yeah, that was in Barcelona.
True.
Okay, how about
True.
this one?
True.
Uh,
No idea.
that's Holland last year, the European Cup, and the guy in the middle is actually Mervyn Leon, and you can see his tattoo behind David. So he made this tattoo when in 2018 we went to the Asian Cup, and he was playing with us in the same team, and we all together won the Asian World Cup, and he made a tattoo right after that for himself.
Wow, dude.
Right.
Now, what is it? Which one was it? Was it this thing? What?
Yeah, that was Langkawi, Malaysia. Yeah, and Gary can keep telling you for ages about how fantastic it is, and he was telling me about that for ages, how fantastic it was, and then we finally managed to experience that in 2018, and yeah, that was one of the best events ever it could happen, with all the organization and people out there. Just great.
What is this one?
That's the same.
Same one? All right. And that's the. Is that the? That's the prime minister, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And he comes to the. And this one.
The same, but probably different
one.
year, different promotion.
Nice, amazing. Okay, cool. So, Nima, can you play paintball in Iran?
Yeah, we can. But as the current situation does not allow us to play, of course, like anywhere in the world.
Mhm.
But yeah, there are people who are the fan of a sport and they love it.
Nice.
So
Okay.
not a problem at all. Not a problem at all.
This one is
Yeah, it's from Vegas this year.
unbelievable. What a great picture. That's an amazing shot. This one?
Nima,
This is
come
from
on.
Faithful. Nima, this
You're
was
from the European event, right?
It is, yeah. That's the European. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
can't because of probably that Faithful logo.
Yeah,
That's
But
Ludo.
I'm not sure what the event it could be.
that was the first event of 2018 in France. I don't remember the city where it was, but that was like not Paris for the first time.
Chart. It
Short.
was in chart. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can remember the yellow background. It
Uh-huh.
was nuts.
You guys are
So,
amazing.
Kirill, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So back in the day when MPPL was around, as far as I know, you have never been to any MPPL event. Have you ever had the willing to play 7-man paintball in MPPL tournament when it was around?
You have a wrong information, because back in 2004, we've
Commander
had
Cup.
we've had a
Oh,
fantastic
a long time ago.
we've had a fantastic collaboration with Team Nexus. Yeah, those guys were playing the 7-man, and they really wanted their spot in 2005. But due to the ratings, they were not so good, and they had a chance to lose this spot. So that's why they advised us to come under their name and to play the full tournament as Nexus. And that was a pretty interesting experience, yeah. But to be honest, 7-man is boring paintball. It's not a sports paintball. Things are not happening quick over there. It's defensive. It's not funny. When you experience Axe Ball for 100%, you just keep playing Axe Ball because that's the athletic way of sports. And if you kind of feel tired yourself, go to the Iron Man Classics. Yeah, go to 10-man, to the Woods Ball. That's the way. 7-man is not the competition part for the sports way of looking at the paintball.
Right.
Okay, you guys.
Talking of Iron City Classic, Gary, you're going to Iron City Classic this year, if it happens, actually.
What's that?
The ICC in Pittsburgh.
ICCL.
No, the Tim Montressor's event.
Tim Montressor, yeah, the Iron Cup Classic. Yeah, that's how
ICC, whatever it's called. Am I going? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah, nobody knows. It's hard to plan.
Okay. Listen, Kirill's wife said she's going to get very pissed off at me if I don't show these pictures. So hang on a second. I have to.
Wow.
Who is this?
Yeah, that's my wife, Jane. Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Is she one of those like Ukrainian mail order things that I always hear about? That just like these amazing women that what I'm saying. She's fantastic. Did you save her life? How did you get something like this? This is amazing.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I'm just a lucky person. That's it.
You are. Look how happy you are.
Yeah, you made some research. Yeah.
How about this? You guys, you ever see those pictures of people having to decide whether to play paintball or to hang out with their wife? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Those are actually pictures from our honeymoon in Dominican Republic, and I'm saying huge thanks to my friends from Dominican Republic because people are playing paintball over there. Great personalities, fantastic friends, and we had like some very fantastic time over there with their help too, actually.
And apparently, though, you were able to find some time to hang out with your wife because.
Yeah, things have changed radically, and now, I have to deal with this little boy over there.
Nice. How many kids do you have?
Just one.
All right. How old is he now?
8 months.
Oh, very cool. Let me guess. It's I'm running out of names. What's his Ivan? No, it's
Lucas.
Oh, you went with Lucas. Fantastic. Nice. That's cool. So is it harder now to play with an 18-month-old?
8 months old. No, actually, it's much easier because now he's much more movable. And now he's actually playing with you, not you, because he can get you anywhere at your apartments where you are and play with you, force you to play. Yeah, so no ways to cancel that type of the activity.
Nice. Now, you said you love Los Angeles, right?
I would say
this is not Los Angeles. This is where is this?
That's the Death Valley, actually. Exactly.
Look how happy you are about traveling, dude. You're like this amazing person, right? You got this big heart, this great personality, or sometimes you just look pissed off. Like, I'm just joking. That's a great picture, dude. That's an amazing picture of you.
No families over here. Yeah, that's a GI show. Don't forget about that.
We're paintball. Yeah. You got some great pictures. People, you make love to the camera. That's what they say. You have this a way of being connected to the camera. You're very photogenic. That's what I'm trying to say. Now listen, before we go too crazy here, I want to ask Nima, what gel is he wearing in his hair here?
What year is that?
It should be 2013 or 14. When they were in HK, when they were sponsored by HK.
That's 2015. That's our first year fully on HK, and the first Texas event when PSP collapsed.
Right.
Cool. And then this one?
That's
Nations Cup.
Nations Cup, yeah, for sure. That's
Dude, you are like just like all over the place. Look at you, man. This is like you're scoping out the field, dude. You're amazing. Now, speaking of business, we're not, but I'm just like I just threw that in as a transition here. What is this?
Oh, that's the COVID reality, and we organize. Everybody knows that in the beginning of the 2020, we have organized the Red Wave School at the East Coast of US, and Gary actually has been helping us once again with the media promotion of that event. We had a chance to make like 2 lessons over there. That was a great feedback. So we started to share the real Russian Legion experience of practicing routines, homeworks, and all that features, how people can quickly upgrade themselves into professional athletes and become much more effective in paintball. But due to the COVID, everything collapsed. And right now we organize the online classes, Red Wave Online. Yeah, we do it through Zoom. We have different classes, we have different themes, and people can easily come and do the essential work of a paintball player to upgrade their muscle memory just at their apartments and from any part of the world.
Where do we find that and you and more about like the Russian Legion and everything?
So we moved to another web page address. It's redlegionclub.com. And if you enter that page, you're going to have a chance to see that the site is in progress, and we soon going to be open the site actually. But so far you have a chance to click a link over there and go to our Telegram channel where we actually promote the our online classes, where you can get all the essential information, so on and so forth. It's not on our Facebook page. We do everything through the Telegram channel right now.
Okay, cool. I got it. Okay, you guys, listen. Whew.
Ooh, that was a nice homework. Actually, so far, that's the best show that I'm the part of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, David, I'm telling you once again, you should talk to GI to give you somehow the spot at the Go Sports. You can be like a really interesting show out there.
All right, I'll talk.
I don't
to
need Maddie.
Yeah.
Matty,
This is the first time I see Gary Brown live on a show.
live on the show.
Yeah. He's like a unicorn. He doesn't, he's there, but he doesn't really,
Enigma.
he's an enigma. Anyway, so you guys listen. We talked about this. This is again coming up here. This is because of what happened with the COVID, the NXL wasn't able to go through with all its different things. Now they're going to be doing this, you guys. So what's the deal here? We're in May right now. Is it going to be June, July? When is this happening?
You asking who?
Whoever wants to answer the question.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
Powers
knows.
that be have not communicated.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we don't know.
Up to the inside feelings, it could happen in the end of summer, in the beginning of autumn, the earliest. I would say September, and then the World Cup in the end of October, November. That's the best reality that we can face.
I got it.
I think the plan is to hold the regional events at existing paintball parks to save money for the NXL, also to promote regional parks as a way forward. And I've heard September, October, which doesn't give them a lot of time for World Cup, but I guess World Cup's going to be a little bit different this year. Hopefully this will all be cleared up by then. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, you guys. Nima, do you have any more questions? Salam chetore, khubam, misi, khudafis, khubi.
Anyone have any idea what language?
What he was speaking about, yeah.
That's Farsi.
Pig Latin.
That's Farsi, you guys. I live here in Los Angeles, and there's so many Persians, and I have to learn. They're always whining. They're like, no, it's okay.
Kirill, have you seen any Iranians in your country?
Yeah, actually, that's a fantastic story because, I have a couple of friends from the area where I do live, And those guys
Nice.
have another friends, yeah, and we all together go to the sauna, like especially during the winter time, and we have like a little club over there. And if we have like some interesting persons from a side to bring into the club to have like a nice conversation and be friends with, we do that. So once somebody invited an Iranian guy, and he speaks Russian really well, and he's having a Russian wife. He is already having like a Russian citizenship. His name is Esi,
Nice.
and that's one of the best friends, foreign friends that I'm having right now, who we usually meet and having a nice time together. So Iran is having a pretty nice representative over here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listen,
So yeah.
there's this
Sorry.
there's a criminal or somebody delinquent. I don't know who this guy is, but he keeps on. Okay, I'll let you in.
Thomas
Who is this?
Taylor.
Thomas Taylor, criminal.
What's up, Thomas Taylor?
He's not
On
a
the show.
criminal. He's a kid's hero because he's having like 3 kids right now, and he bring all of his family with his wonderful wife over to the tournament. It's
Does
crazy.
he still wear the mohawk thing? Does he still have the?
Not anymore. He's a grown-up
Everyone
guy
is
now.
asking to bring back the mohawk.
All right, Thomas Taylor. So listen, it's been an amazing show. I want to thank everybody for putting up with this family reunion. And we got another show. Wait, Ryan, what is it? Ryan Harris. Ryan Harris wants to say hello. He's out of North Carolina. Hey, Ryan Harris, how you doing? So you guys listen. I am doing another series of shows. It's called Where You From? And it's going to be all about the cultural aspect of our sport, the people that play. We've got Nima. If you finally, Nima, are you in on this? Are you going to do this or not? You're going to represent Iran?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, so we've got Nima from Iran, we've got Kirill from Russia, I've got Portugal, Spain, everybody. What's going to happen is we're going to talk about your food, your culture, your flag, your traditions, all that kind of stuff. Really get into it. That's called Where You From? It'll be coming pretty soon. I'm really looking forward to that one. But for right now, you guys, I want to thank you very much for sitting down and hanging out with Kirill and Gary and Nima just a painful family. So you guys listen. You guys don't leave. Hang out in the green room. I'm gonna end the show, but you guys don't run off. Okay. All right, you guys listen. It's been a fantastic time. Thank you very much, and I'll shoot you soon. Bye.